My name is Kib. Your name is not Kib, chat. Just what? It isn't. Chat doesn't even know how to spell their own name. Friggin' chat. They don't even know who they are. Like, my name's Jeff. We have Ghost Jeff in actually our server. No, wait. He's in our subscriptions. Yes. Welcome to the stream. Today we're playing Ream Total War, but we're not going to be doing any... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, I am talking. Okay. That icon was slow to move. I was like, what? I was very confused. My itches. I'm thirsty. I am actually thirsty. I'm grabbing something from the fridge. I hope there's something wet in there. No, wait, let me rephrase that. Because ketchup is technically wet, and I don't really want to drink that. That is what I am. Oh, I stubbed my toe. Oh, Jesus. That was unfortunate. How are you doing? What are you wearing, chap? Alright. We're gonna play Ream Total War. Barbarian Invasion. Why? Because I want to play this one. I just do. Not that I don't want to stop the Broody Eye campaign. Oh yeah, there's mellow yellow in the fridge, chat. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bubbly bits. Let's see. How do we play game? Graphics. Borderless window. Blah 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 blah. You know what? Let's try. Oh, it is on experimental. Oh. Well, okay. Now, chat said wants me to play the Brit Reams. Because I asked and people said Brit Reams. So Brit Reams it is, I guess. This looks gearboxy. Merchants and trade.
I have returned.
Yeah, all the remastered mechanics, please. Was it because I don't know. I'm kind of still trying to see what's like different or better or what isn't. It's still kind of hard. People told me that it's harder on normal, but I do not believe them. However, just because this might be a short campaign, we're gonna try. I don't believe that though. Like, I don't think it's gonna be harder on normal. I mean, if I play the Western Roman Empire, it's gonna be hard, no matter what.
Hard or just tedious?
Hard and tedious. This one's actually kind of hard though, because like, there's not as many territories to lose. They still have a lot of territories.
Oh, so don't forget to share your screen.
Ah, yes, of course. Okay, so none, medium, start campaign. Now, this is RNG based, so these emergent factions they'll spawn differently a little bit every time, and they spawn with unique stacks. So it'll be interesting if the game decides to give me something good and it puts me in an awful position. I mean, I'm only in Britain though, so it's not like it can put me far. Look at those Huns. We was Huns and cheat. See, Huns can actually settle in this one. I never liked it about Attila, because technically the Huns did settle.
Nah, always migratory.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing I still like though. The borders of the map are all decayed. It's like sad and decrepit. We spawned in a not a terrible spot, right next to an enemy army, so we can pop them off right away. And we spawned with armor upgrades on all our dudes. Now, our army itself is actually kind of fucking shitty, though. No. Why so many peasants? Like, these are gonna be absolutely useless. Alright, well, fuck you too, game.
I mean, if I'm seeing it right, you at least have one decent cap besides the general.
Imperator. Sir, orders. Orders leaving the army, sir. What? Monies? From Black 1917 says squeak, high hands. Oh no, high for me. I see how it is. Couldn't fit that in there. Saying nope. I don't like Kib anymore.
The character limit too small.
Now these Remans think they can out-Reman the true Remans, which were the Brit Bongistans. Yeah, that's right, chat. The true heirs to the British Empire, the Roman Empire. God damn. Were the Brit Bongs. Lots of Limitanier, and 1 unit of committed tenseis. Good. Good. What do I have? Coastal levies. Okay.
Again, at least you have some decent cav, besides your general.
Yes, we do need to outmaneuver them. Kind of interesting. It's like spawning as a horde, but with like a single stack, and there's no horde mechanics. That's the one thing I wish modders will add. Like, make it so maybe they have horde mechanics. No, that'd be a bad idea, I think.
Let us offer prayers to the gods for victory.
This is a British general, by the way.
Let us arm ourselves to the teeth, just in case the gods aren't listening. This morning, an eagle circled the camp 3 times, then flew towards the rising sun. Such a portent can only mean a good day for us today. They stand alone. No friend has come to this place to die for them. Does this not say something about their honor? They're standing among nations.
It's like, yeah, first turn, how could they have any diplomatic ties?
They expect
Yep.
great things of us as a result. And we are the men to do great things. Nothing else is worth doing.
Move out! Oh, wait, my orders. Now, we do have lots of cavalry. This is the one good thing with the stack. Grail Knights.
Yeah, like I said, at least you have, like, decent cav.
Now, these are kind of cool.
Look at those face masks.
Grail Knights. That's a unique unit. Some crossbows in. Let's see. Are the enemy going to sally forth? Probably. Nah. Yep, they are. Okay. A little unexpected, if I must say so. Now, monks. What do monks do? Hands. Hands.
I told you I've never played Barbarian Invasion.
I don't even know what monks do. Chad, what do monks do?
It's probably...
A buff,
Okay,
if I had to guess.
It's basically the druids from the looks of it, because that's the same icon for chanting.
Oh, does it push away?
No, it's a buff to morale.
Ah, that's good. That's what I was hoping it was. Oh, they're gonna play the skirmish game. Oh, okay, fuck you. Little cunt. Two can play that fucking game!
Cheapy Dirkog just says wooloo.
Wooloo. Hey, what are you doing with those horsies? No. Oh my god. Do you want a skirmish or not?
Like, yes, Chibi Dirkog is wrong game.
What are you doing? You know what? I'm gonna make your formations derp out. Fuck you. What you get?
The thing is, your army might be big enough, they might not respond to a single cav or two on the flanks.
Well, they're responding. But that's fine. I don't mind if the formation gets a little fucked. Burr, 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 burr. See? Music is the thing I thought it was gonna do. Oi, stop shooting me, fucking cunt. God damn it, crossbowman. You really don't have range. To be fair, these are early crossbows. This is actually probably more accurate than Attila was. Those archers? Those are. Okay, just be careful
I mean,
now.
at least they have AP, so they can actually do well against higher tier units.
Oh, shit. I've got a different mouse, so it's kind of fucking weird to use. And what are those? Nope. I don't want to play with those. Those can die. Those are forming the biggest line I've ever seen in my life. Get back up a little. Let them do the charge. Good, fuck him.
The enemy general is dead. His men know their doom approaches.
Let's go. Let's go! Remans are just remaning. Remaning. I can't help but feel like they're withdrawing from the battlefield. I mean, they behave differently on normal, but that might just be this battle. And that is the general unit derped out. Unleash hell. How far away is the edge? Not very. We're not going to catch them.
The fun part.
They're too heavy.
Run down units that are trying to slowly get towards the edge of the map.
They may be heavy soldiers.
Don't forget to tell them your cavalry to run past them so that way they actually catch up and don't do the derpy thing and slow down.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. The more we kill, the less we have to deal with. Come on, let's go, let's go! Oh, impetuous. You're impetuously hurting my organs. That's better. Poof. Now, you get over here. Now. Get over.
The enemy show
We're not done, game.
They are not soldiers, only frightened rabbits running from our men.
People joining the stream.
Welcome to the stream, chant. Welcome to the slaughter. I don't know why, but I really like the barbarian invasion era, like 400 AD. It's very romantic in a way. The fall of an empire. Something beautiful about that. And a kind of fun, like watching the Titanic sink away. It's like, ha ha ha, they're all gonna die. Come on, let's go, come on. There's only a couple little fake Romans left. Only the real Romans, the true Britannians. To be fair, we got the chattest fucking flag, though. It's a fucking dragon. Okay, you know what? You hurt myself. Better.
Flocking on this engine was always special.
Shinkachi donates 50 pesos. Sleep can't hurt the Kib no more. I really wish it couldn't. Sadly, it can. And it is right now. Organ failure imminent. Look at that gothic warrior with that gothic shield. To be fair, I always thought the goth shields were kind of cute. But like, hey, 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 we're a person.
It does look special.
Now, the real question is, Londinium is more valuable, so we're going to go for Londinium first. Just I'm pretty sure it's more valuable. It was historically a little bit more valuable. Now, we could recruit mercenaries if we need them. Galloglass? That just sounds cool. Sarmatian archers? All the way up here? Okay. Veterani, which are veterans. Cute. We're going to do it. Yeah, it's a little expensive. Blah, blah, blah. A bunch of people. New faction emerges. Romano-British. Storm from the east. The Huns have arrived. The Vandals are here. And the paganism is on the rise. Or no, paganism is on the devil. Going all right. Finishing work preparations for upcoming week. Yeah, plus job hunting for better job. Well, good luck, game. Hopefully you find that better job, buddy.
Attack! Besieging settlement, sir.
And we are losing months. This army is overkill for the situation that we are facing. It's more of a fun thing. I don't think the Western Romans will send any troops up here anytime soon. Though, it will be funny if we get corrected on that rebellion or worse. Western Roman rebels. Yeah, I think they have their own problems right now. The WRE is crumbling, and it crumbles pretty quickly, if I remember right. A lot of territories. If we do night battles, I think we get a bonus, don't we? The Night Fighter trait is unlocked command level 4. Or by winning a night battle. Well, I don't know if it gives us traits. We'll do it in the day. It helps for chat to see the battlefield a little better. And when we get more fun units like onagers and stuff, we can just burn buildings just so we get cool burning cities. Dude's like, I'm gonna stab you with my spatha. Wait. That looks like a spatha. I don't remember Ostrogoths used spatha. I mean, the blades were kind of similar-esque, but...
Yeah, don't ask me for specific equipment. That's not something that I kept too much track of.
Bend your backs to your tasks, and all will be well. My priests have watched the skies, and the birds in all the heavens move in our favor. Such good portent should never be ignored. They think their walls are enough to stop us. They should think again. The count of our warriors is vastly greater than theirs, so unless we fight like old women or idiots, victory is certain.
Loses battle.
I have never lost a battle against these people. Why should I start losing now, with men such as you at my command? Another victory is at hand. There is no shame in fear. There is only shame in letting fear rule you. Try not to look scared, and you'll find bravery in your heart.
Cody, $25 say you will like this, Kibs. Lead on the periodic table is PB for plumbus, which is Latin for the root word for plumber. Like your old family business. It's not like my old family business because we weren't plumbers. Thank you for the donation. Shankatsu 50 pays say delicious brown girl or luscious redhead. Both. The greedy kid. Greedy. Greedy.
I think the Galglass are basically just reskinned Folksmen.
They probably use the same animation, but they're really cool blades. Like, those are heavy chonk blades. Chonky blades. Chonky blades. That's gonna hit like a wrecking ball.
I can imagine.
Thank you for the donations. But yeah, no, the family business was like we did a couple things. We did home theater installment and audio, and we also did like maintenance and repair on septic tanks, which out in the countryside is pretty common. We didn't do plumber stuff, though we knew plumbers. The monks are put... Okay. Alright. Mercenaries. Now what? You guys look like committed tenseis? No, you look like Legio. Just like a regular Legio troops. I told you to go bonky bonky down the gate. What do we have inside? Limitanier? Yes. Limitanier. More border guard. And Limitanier. 4 border guard troops. Those border guards better not be thinking about doing what I think they're doing.
They probably are.
Just shoot them. That's great. What are you doing? Do you see the gate over there, monks? I know you're not, you know, siege experts, but this is embarrassing. You did specific stuff, right? Is that not considered plumbing? No, it's not really plumbing. Like, plumbers know different stuff, and we can't do plumbing. We couldn't. We didn't have the equipment for that kind of stuff. Like, septic tanks are very, very different. It's like septic... Oh, God, they're burning stuff. No, no. If that burns, I'll be so sad. Like, plumbing's like dealing with, like, pipes and shite. Oh, no, we're too close. Crossbowman back up. Limitanier, throw Rockies. Or Rockies. Wait, those better be dart and not peel them. I think they'll peel them. Can't see them.
I mean, consider both of you are kind of offshoots of the Romans, so it makes sense.
Pelham has fallen out of use by now, I think. Or 63 AD. Like, they should primarily be using darts.
Our soldiers are at the gates.
Oh,
Now they
true.
must batter a way through.
They have the animation and model for the Pilum.
They did have Pelham?
No. I'm saying, like, they already have the animation and model for it. The Pilum. So it's like, I mean...
It's inaccurate. Just use the animation. But, I don't know, shrink the Pelham down to be like a dart. Whoa, good morning, says Crazy Okami. Good morning and welcome to the stream. It's so late right now. Open up and let Kib in. This is Londinium. This is supposedly a Roman settlement. Romanized by now. And yet there's a little barbarian... See, now that I know history... Like, Londinium wouldn't look like this. Like, okay, it wouldn't be the size. It'd be bigger, of course, but, like... It would be different. It's like a little bit. It's a little Roman. Septic comes from septicus, or putrid like rot, yes.
Our soldiers have done their work well. The battering ram has broken through the gate.
The priest get fucking... Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are... Those aren't Pilum, but they're javelins. I mean,
okay,
that's
so
not...
use that model instead.
It's not out of the ordinary to use something like that.
Edelman's wondering what the unit size is.
200. I have it as on extreme. Priest, I want you to grab that ram. They're like, boss, we died, dude. It's like, I don't care about how many of you filthy heathens die. Like, but we's literally a priest boss. We can't be heathens. No. What you're doing there is going to get yourself shot to death. Let's take a look at that boat. Does it look like a boat? It looks like a white beam of energy. Thing is, they might never have had bolts. I don't even remember. But I felt like they did. Did they back up? They did. Cowards. Two entrances should be enough. Any thoughts on the original Empire Earth? It was interesting little RTS game. It wasn't like super big. Oh goddamn! I'm hit by that tower over there.
Now they must batter a way through.
Oh, this unit's having a
I
hard
remember
time.
Empire Earth when I was younger. One of the RTS games I played a lot of.
Yeah, I was gonna say no hands like that one a lot more than I did. Has a lot more time in it too. Go to I'll say this game is bringing back my Latin lessons. Didn't Albert the Great or Wise or whatever live in the old Roman governor's palace? I do not know the specifics of that. Honestly, when it comes to me looking at Roman stuff, like I actually... Oh, fuck, wrong button! Alright, well. I've actually stopped looking at it. Actually from the advice of Bubbles. Because when we were writing the lore for the Astrian Empire for the video game that we're developing, like... we started to realize that there was too many inflections of, like, Rome and Greece bleeding in, and it's supposed to be inspired by, but it's not supposed to be those things. And so we're like, okay, let's just turn off all, like, looking at that in terms of, like, structure and stuff like that. And that's what caused the Astrian Empire to finally get truly born, like, properly, to become its own entity. I was very proud and happy when somebody, like, I was telling them a little bit about it, and like, that doesn't really sound like the Romans or the Greeks. It's like, yes, perfect. Inspired by, but not those things. I want people to think of Astria as Astria, not Greece or Rome.
Poor priest
Look,
getting javelined.
you guys are doing good, okay? You almost got it. God is with you, brothers. What's your brother, priest? You almost got it, sorta. A little bit. I mean, they could just slip through, though, realistically.
Yeah, but game mechanics.
Priest, no.
Fat Spaghetti says, all I remember of Empire Earth was hearing it was Age of Empires, but you get to go into space. That's highly dependent on what campaign you're doing, if you bother with that. But you can start from the Stone Age and go all the way to the Space Age.
We're gonna send in the fucking heavy hitters there. I'm gonna move in the other mercenaries over there. Cut down on our actual troop losses. Don't forget they back off. Hi, all donates £2 to say hi, Kibs. How is your game going? Any idea on the date? Ooh, no. Not like a date of release. Like, when it comes to asking questions about it, it's better to ask, like, what are the immediate goals? Because, like, asking for the release is like asking for everything to just come together. I don't even know. But I can tell you what estimations are for, like, smaller things. For example, the combat build. Like, our hope is that we'll have the combat build done, or at least very close to being done this year. And it's looking like that's very possible. And holy shit, these guys are aggressive.
Yeah. Also, Edelman, it's entirely possible that I'm just not enunciating enough because the past little while I've actually had a headache.
Yeah, Hansy boy is not feeling well. He's fairly congested.
Oh, I've been dealt with that most of the day.
Wow, I like these guys. I might keep them around. Galaglass, but how do you replenish them?
If they're mercenaries, you basically just need to find another company.
Yep. Shame. Hope for that a building that you can build for modders to replenish mercenaries.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. Also, that maybe make like regional buildings that you can build that will allow you to recruit regional special units like that. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But that might remove some of the magic of the mercs. But at the same time, that might just be more fun to play with.
No, but the thing is, the mercs you can get in the field. Like, there's no replacing that.
That's true.
Like, the only thing you're doing by having a recruitment center is guaranteeing that you can get that unit.
Are they routing, or are they being weird? They're being weird.
It looks like they're trying to move through the unit, but they can't.
They are.
The thing is, that's actually a really good strategy in Rome 1. Just have your unit try to move through a unit and then attack it. Because then all of a sudden you get all your attack animations off at the same time. And it can potentially shatter a unit.
Dude. But yeah. Our newest god is actually just finished. Actually, 2 are in development at the moment. Well, no, one's about done. His constellation's not done, though. Bajaro. There's a Bajaro or Bajaro. I don't remember the correct pronunciation. I'll have to check later. The god of celebration in the Starborn Pantheon. He is done. And he is looking great. He's got a big fucking dick, though.
And he's not afraid to use it.
Look, the only reason why I mention that is because it's on the art, and I'm going to actually have to censor it to actually show it or release it. I was holding off on showing it lately because I was waiting to get home after work and pay Sala, and I wanted to post it today, but I'm probably not going to post it today.
Yeah, sometimes stuff happens.
I might post it tomorrow. So you guys will get to see Bajaro in the dev chat, or no, wait, you don't have access to that. In the Legends of Terrestria chat, and that'll be the uncensored one in the Discord server. Be sure to keep an eye on the Discord server. We got some new peoples coming in, probably because of the RP. We got a lot of tons of new subscribers. Thanks to Arch. Also, just putting these guys behind will be enough. Put those guys over there. And who could fight these guys?
It's so weird seeing Red in the town center, and you're not playing as them, because I was playing that basically most of today.
Yeah. Now I'm the Roman wannabe, the British Romans.
The British remnants.
Yeah. I think they're supposed to spawn as a stack after the Romans lose Britain.
I guess they want to give you like a fair shot at potentially getting some of the buildings that would, in theory, be built up.
I mean, nice things we'll get access to units that I never got to play with that much. Like these guys.
The Horse Boys.
Grail Knights. And the Coast Guard. Technically, Coastal Levies Coast Guard, whatever. Like, I don't remember seeing those in the Roman roster. They have some unique units.
I'm sorry, anytime I hear fucking like, Coast Guard, I'm just imagining their shields aren't actual shields, they're just fucking surfboards.
They want to come play? They can come play.
I'm not gonna lie, those crossbowmen are actually not doing as well as I thought they would.
Yeah, the Brucaliar, or the Brusaliari? Blusari? Fuck, I can't pronounce that one. That's being difficult to me. Huh? What? Oh. I was like, where are
Maybe
those
it's just
coming
because
from?
it's the early tier, and that's why.
These guys are hacking away, though, real good.
Whap, 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 whap.
Problem is with crossbows, they can't arc their fire that well. It's direct fire based. So they gotta get troops out of the way.
Gods be praised.
I'll donate £5 say, is your game 2D or 3D? And what would you like to add to the game? If you had any bigger team working on? I mean, our team is huge for an indie. Like, most of the indies games that I've enjoyed have been made by smaller teams than the one we have. Yeah, that is true. Though, to be fair, we have 4 total, including myself, writers and sort of designers. The reason behind that decision was to make the writing as good and quality checked as possible. Oh, if we could just do that, if we could scare them at the same time, we could trigger a route. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, that ends up saving men. The only downside is you don't get to kill them for the experience for your troops.
We do lose a little bit out on the XP front.
The thing is, at this point,
Here, you know what?
kind of want your troops rather than having XP on them.
Kyle was asking questions, so I'll show him a little picture. That might help give it a better idea of what it looks like. If you get to see. Yeah, why not? We'll show you that too. We haven't showed that officially on stream yet. We can show that concept art as well. But I'm looking for a gameplay shot. Well, gameplay. More of what like it looks like in-game. This is a very out-of-date picture, but that'll work. Okay. Boop. There you go. Thank you for the donation again. But I'll answer that in a little bit, because actually there's a lot of stuff on my mind about that. So here's what kind of the game looks like. And I mean, the camera's more zoomed in a little bit. But we're working on one of the structures for the Astrians, for that culture group. We're primarily focused on Astria. And then we're going to start branching out to other cultures, especially ones that rub off on them and different splinters things. So yeah, you can get a little feel for the perspective. But it's ISO, well, it's not isometric, because that's technically like that, if I remember right. I forget, it's like mesometric or something like that. It's like that. It's kind of like, what's the word? Like north, south, east, west. It's very, like, it's like a
Cardinal direction-y.
cardinal X, Y, and, or no, not X, Y. X and Y axis, or what? No. My brain's not working. It's super late. Whatever. Either way, it works like that. It's based on a grid. We're experimenting with mini squares. So that's something that's going to be interesting. That's so you can finick around walls and edges because the building's interiors are different, because wall thickness is a issue. And as well as monsters being larger than, you know, a single character and stuff like that. And the sprite work in pixel art is just fantastic. But it's a tactical turn-based role-playing game. And it's based on a story that I really thought was cool, and I thought that'd be awesome if we could have some, like, narrative decisions and stuff like that, so you can choose, like, events and stuff like that. What's the other picture? There it is. And then here's some concept art from Carlos. He's the guy who did the tokens for Arch. This is just some early concept art of the god of the old pantheon, king of the gods, Ariestos. And there he is, looking chat with one of the god servants. I forget what those things are called.
It's been too long since I looked at that document.
They are like the soldiers of the heavens, or at least that heaven, that specific pantheon. And then here we have Sarcastic V. He's a little heavy. He is one of the house lords, one of the House Nataclisius. But yes, there's more art you can find in the Legend of Terrestria chat if you want to look at more of it. If you want to take a squeak peek at it. A squeak peek. But yes, we use all the money and donations we get on that. That's also why I stream regularly, because we generally make a little bit of money every stream. Even if people don't donate, we still generate revenue, or we get new subscribers, or whatever. And that's why, even though I'm so tired, I'm streaming now. Because it's like, this is part of the other side of it, because like I'm using the YouTube channel to help promote the game. That's also why I made connections and like reached out to bigger YouTubers. And I thought that that guy died there. I thought that was mine for a second. I was like, what? I just won that. And I was like, oh yes, right, I'm blue.
Clearly not. Actually have some income now.
Now, nice thing is I can use their buildings. We don't
I
have
have a bonus from being from
that.
the same culture group.
Yeah, we don't have that much income though. I think we'll need to get rid of some stuff though. What's our loss of income here? Oh wait, estimate. Yeah, we're losing money. So something's got to go. You've got to go.
The thing is, you have a decent amount.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm gonna have to heal some of the units. I'm gonna leave the peasants behind. What?
Yeah. No, I was going to recommend maybe disbanding them, but it's like, no, you need the some units.
I'm gonna
to
need them for
maintain
public order. Christianity, paganism. You know, we're gonna return to form. So do we have a? Yeah, we have a shrine to Mithras. Good. Yeah, that's our idea. We're gonna return to paganism. It's like Stardew Valley? Not quite like Stardew Valley. It's a very different style game. A lot of influences were from... Jesus Christ, Tootin. Tootin, my friend. You've been extremely generous. And, like, to the point where I'm gonna, like... have a heart attack. And that's not the first time you've done that either, in a short span. Don't feel bad. Like, don't feel guilted. I feel bad now. Tootin donates $100 dues to say, here's some money for dealing with my cheesy behavior from yesterday's stream. Do not. Tootin, do not. You are fine. There was nothing wrong with what you did yesterday. Yesterday, I was tired. I even told you. Even in the stream.
And it's like, I even told you, like, on the...
But granted,
Discord,
that was towards the end of my rant.
Oh, yeah, it's like, and also remember, like, on the Discord, I even said that it's like, at least for me, like, I wasn't mad that you guys did that. The thing I was the most upset about, it wasn't even the tactic of you guys doing it. It's me seeing the 4 barbarian units just run out of the town center. It's like,
you do not need to donate for that, Tootin, ever. Like, ever, 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 ever. And in private, if you change your mind about that, you can be refunded for that. Because, like, you shouldn't feel guilty about that. You shouldn't feel guilty about that. I was mad, and I apologize yesterday Because I was cranky, I was tired, and I was not having. I should have ended the stream like hours ago, and I didn't. I don't care if it was a million berserkers, student. It's fine.
I could have sworn it was 4. Either way, once I saw this berserkers running it, it's like, I know it's
I
gonna
don't
happen here.
like. It doesn't matter. Like, dude, you lose some games, you win some. You get mad, you get salty, you get over it. You
Yeah,
don't
Rome's
have
one
to
of
do
those-
that.
Yeah, Rome's one of those games for me. It's very hard for me to get angry at it because I played it so much, and it's just like sometimes a trebuchet rock just hits your general and he dies. That just happens sometimes.
Or a
And it's like
rock
you just
from a slinger.
those are funny though.
But
It
yeah.
is funny that swingers can do that to generals, but yes. Like, yeah, that stuff just happens sometimes. Like, I'm not mad about it.
I mean, last night I was mad, but that was mostly because I was tired.
And I even did a little theory crafting on it. It's like, well, if we had that same battle again, how would I change what I did?
Oh fuck! Did they run back in the settlement?
It did look like that.
I misclicked. That's the click to deselect. Alright, that town is... Wait, no, you need to be out with them.
Thankfully, the general automatically goes to the front.
He does. Now that settlement is very unprotected, so that'll be...
That's about what I expected.
Oh,
Yeah, you should be able to steamroll all of Britain and secure it.
The one problem is to the north is a group of savages, but I think I've got the army to actually deal with them.
I actually don't know, because I very rarely run up into Britain, because I really don't like dealing with chariots. But, is there a settlement in Ireland?
I'll donate another £5. Thank you. So I really like games that were worked on. I'm just gonna add letters there to just sort of guess by a small team like Mountain Blade and Kenshi. I hope I like your game half as much as I love them. Well, I do need to be honest with you. Our game is very different than those style of games. Like Kenshi and Mountain Blade are like open sandboxy games.
They're very, not even just sandboxy, but they're very traditional sandboxy, where
Like, you
there's,
can go
there's
anywhere.
not much of a story. It's just like you do what you want to do in that world.
And the story is more so your adventure. Here is like this story that I wanted to tell for like a long time. Though there's still decisions, but these decisions that you make, sure, they affect the outcome of the story and change like who lives and who dies and what party characters you keep and what ones you lose and what the ending is or what nations do what. But it's not the same level of freedom you have in like a Total War game where it's a sandbox and I can choose to ally with Rome and like try to patch things up or, you know, continue to fight and conquer them and things like that. Like, there's more linearity to the game we're making because it's more narrative. So it's a very different style game, and it's also turn-based. Both those games are real-time. So it might not be your cup of tea unless you like those kinds of games, but I appreciate you being interested. Excuse me. Also, you don't have to worry. We already have plans at some point. You take a sip. Try to stop coughing. To do a, we already talked to the team. We're already going to do a demo no matter what. So it doesn't matter. But, once we start opening up to testing, we're going to first do closed testing as I knock over some shit in my desk. Right? Lovely. And now my mouse goes over there. Oh, fucking A. We're going to open up to testing at some point, but it'll be closed, so it'll be people who've donated. So, again, you've donated. So that means you can go... There's so many things I have to say. You can join our Discord server, and basically DM me a receipt. You can censor all the stuff, and I'll give you access to the special room. Now remember, if you ever donate, even if it's just $1, it's lifetime access. Why? Because I just feel like, you know, if you're going to give us $1, that's already a lot more than a view. Like, that's like... You might as well get lifetime access to that thing. I don't mind.
Kibs, before you attack the settlement, can you hold shift and then look over the Welsh territory? Okay, so there is no settlement over there.
Nope.
Because if you don't know who owns the settlement, it just gives you this little question mark, and you can use that to kind of help figure out where the boundaries of certain territories are.
Yep. Is this a new feature?
No, that's always been in there.
Okay. I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's always been in.
Prepare for battle.
move. They just have a general. That's not going to end well for them.
No, it is not. Wish we could attack it this turn, but unfortunately we gotta wait.
Edmund, not many games can have someone saying a sentence like that. He says, "I would like a better swave mechanic in Tenchi 2."
That's nice. But yeah, like I was saying, there's going to be a closed testing period, and then we'll eventually open up to open beta, and just because we're going to need all the help we can get for testing. Because I'm sure there'll be bugs, and I'm scared, you know, about the quality, and I've that's the biggest concern I have. And the idea is that it needs to be as perfect as we possibly... I'm sorry, my mouse is being retarded. I have a new mouse. I've set up a new mouse just recently because my other mouse ran out of battery, like a little bit ago. And I don't have batteries. First person or third person over shoulder would be an interesting idea for Kenshi 2, but I might miss the bird's eye. I've not been able to put much time into those kinds of games because I don't have time like that anymore. Jesus Christ, I get a lot of adoptions.
Ooh,
He's not
that's
gonna
suck for. That's gonna suck for them. That's actually a really decent general.
Yes. He's about to be really dead.
Yeah. Yep.
I am. Can't wait till we show off the combat stuff, though. That's the biggest thing I'm excited, and also for the mechanics to be implemented, because like only part of them are actually implemented, and we're just like waiting. As the programmers work really hard.
But that is an excuse made by the weak and feeble. We are neither, and so face the day with calm hearts. I have never yet lost
calm hearts and heavy cav.
I have no intention of starting today. So together, we will gain another victory. This army includes fully half of all our warriors.
More than half, but whatever.
Apparently, your general really valued those few peasants you left behind.
Yeah.
It's like they were my bros.
Remember that as you cut them down. They have been lulled into a false sense of security by a few feet of defensive wall, as if that will protect them. Now then, look to your front. Mark your
Gosh darn it.
when it comes.
Make sure my Twitch chat comes back. There, just in case somebody pops up there on a head ladder or something.
I have both chats open.
I'm on your Discord server as G-U-A-K Feral. I like sandbox games because I have bad dyslexia, so I can turn my mind off and kill things without reading. Well, I'm not entirely sure our game will be up your alley in that case. But the hope is, oh yeah, you had asked earlier, and thank you for the donation. What was the thing I would want? Voice acting, and good voice acting. That's the thing that's gonna make us end up probably having to kickstart the game. Because I just don't see me being able to financially build that myself. Like, I've invested almost all my capital into the art department, and fortunately, I'm very fucking fortunate, by the way, that the programmers and the other writers and stuff didn't want to work on commission. Like, yeah, no, we'll take it, like, we'll get paid when, you know, the game's made and it starts generating money, and they'll get their share. And that's, like, oh, thank God, because, like, I can only carry so much, and that's one of the reasons we're able to have such a big team. And that's also why I work so hard on this YouTube channel and trying to get monies and stuff for that. Because the idea is trying to build up capital, buy as much art as possible so we can produce, you know, high-quality animations, like our lead animator's Cashew. Well, lead only. He's one of the best animators I've ever seen, as far as Pixar goes. Like, sure, there's a lot of other talented ones out there, but, like, of all the ones I've worked with, he is the best. Nobody compares. Just like Sala and Carlos, like, they're really skilled concept artists. Sala's fantastic character artist. Endio's just really good. His lines are great. We have him working on some wallpapers, promotional material for the game. 3 of them, Rhea, Aya, and Nezra. So the 3 waifus. 3 of the main characters. I'm always worried about that composition, though. It's like, that's gonna be weird once we actually get around to the actual functions for that. How that's gonna balance out. Oh well. One of those things, you'll figure it out as you go.
Now they must batter
That's kind of the way indie and game dev is. It's like, okay, you have an idea how things are going to work. You think you know what's going to work out. And then it turns out that it's not going to work out that way, but it's going to work out this way. I asked you before, but you didn't know then, but will your game have voice actors or have text-to-speech? Could we put in a text-to-speech function? Probably. I say probably because the programmers tell me that, well, yeah, our programmers tell me that, like, anything is possible so long as I know what it is I want them to do. So, putting text-to-speech into the game to do the voice, like, work for now, like, that would be a possibility. That's not something we have on our menu right now because we're, like, working on user interface and the combat build. Those are the main things right now. That's the goal for this year, is to try to hammer home the combat user interface and the general user interface, which is what we recently implemented thanks to the help of Discordia, who has done a really good job of executing UI v4, which is the version 4 of our UI. 3 never even got implemented because we immediately came up with a better idea. 3 was onto something, and then 4 is basically just like a really polished version of that idea.
Cody Davis says, I really like that they built a nice road right up to the wall, then said screw it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It looks more like the road
Or that right there.
Yeah, it looks more like the road got destroyed rather than they just didn't build up to the wall.
Also, I like to point out that the roads look cool, but the one thing that always annoyed me is the fact that, like, that happens. But you do get a movement bonus for walking on it.
Pretty neat.
Is Arch involved in the project? To a little degree. To a small degree, yes. He is partially involved, but not with the game project, not at the moment at least. He's got his own things going on for him, like his YouTube channel. That's why, like, I used to do, I was trying to get into lore because Arch was, like, trying to convince me to do lore, so I tried doing some Battletech lore stuff, and that was fun, but, like, I found myself, like, because I was still working on my game at that point, I was, like, was very driven to work on my game. Like, I was always annoyed working on someone else's lore. Like, I felt like all I do when I make a lore video is I just, like, yeah, sure, I try to make it my own, but it still feels like, no matter how much changing, no matter how much work I put into having the custom art and the custom presentation and my own spin on the narrative, so to speak, like, no matter what I do, it just feels like I'm regurgitating someone else's work, and that just really left a nasty, like, aftertaste. I don't know. I was like, I want to do something, and I want it to be mine. Like, I want to be able to make something and be like, I helped make that, or I made that, or something of that degree. It just feels better to me. But Arch does occasionally do advice stuff. Like, I sometimes send him, like, character concepts, like, hey, what do you think of this? As close friends. I do that for Hands, Fairman, and Bubbles. Sometimes when I'm still uncertain about a character and, like, Bubbles and nobody can come up with anything, I'm like, I'll pass it on to Arch and be like, hey, what's your 2 cents? I don't always listen to the things he says, but it helps me think critically about things. And he does, and we do the same vice versa. Sort of like a writer's group, because Arch is working on his own stuff. We've always kind of done it that way. I'm sure he will at least advertise it. He acts like a baddie, but I think he's a big softie in reality. I mean, Arch is going to be helping with the Project Kanar. Legend of Kanar, which is a spin-off of Legends of Terrestrial, which is the game we're working on. The spin-off isn't like a game or anything, it's just a lore series. Because, like, hey, I will really, like, it tortures me that I'm writing this lore for this universe, and I can't share it, or I can't talk about it half the time, and I can't do anything with it. And all it is just sitting there in documents upon documents that are slowly getting bigger and bigger, just doing nothing. And I was like, I kind of want to write something, and I kind of want to, like, get not only just promotional material, but just feel like what the audience feels. Like, how do people feel about our writing? How do they feel about the universe and stuff like that? Like, I want to know. it's like something that's been like eating away at me because I've been working on this for years, and like I don't know what people think. Every time I tell people a little bit about it, they're always like, "Oh, that sounds really cool. That looks really amazing," and that gives me a lot of confidence. That gives me a lot of hope. But at the same time, I still don't know. Like, you don't know, and that's the painful question. It's like, do people care? Like, is this something people will be interested in? And some people might say, like, yeah, I'll totally be interested. But they're saying that because, you know, they're just trying to make me feel better, or, you know, they're just like, you know, I like Kibs as a YouTuber, so I'll give it a shot. And that's fair. That's more than fair. But it's like, I want to know if it's good, though. It doesn't change the fact. Like, I want to know if it is as good as I think it is in my head. And she's
also, don't forget your general's bodyguard replenishes units.
Yes, that's why I was bringing him up. You know, in 30 years. I'm a little worried about those guys standing there.
Yep, there they go.
I mean, I like that they don't want to just take it all the time. Now, you guys stop shooting. There we go. Cody donates another $5. Says, all right, no. I'm gonna read. Chat's kind of slow, so I'm gonna read kind of everybody. Will your game have YouTuber you work with be in the game like Arch? Wait, will your game have YouTuber you work with be in the game like Arch? I'm a little confused. Hands, do you help me out there?
I see your comment. I'm reading it. I'm trying to parse it myself.
Because I think I know what he's saying, but I don't want to misinterpret it.
Yeah, I would have to say that sentence is just a bit too jumbled for me to make full sense of it right now.
Yeah, could you say that one more time for me, please? Just so I know exactly what it is, so I can give you a better answer. Or give you a correct answer, the one you're looking for. Well, looking for. You know what I mean. Cody donates $5 say, I had to make myself stop taking over chat to get help world building and fleshing out concepts. Robert Marks and El Woodall were a big help, though. That's good. World building is an interesting journey, and there's no right way to do it. Take away the U. Okay. Take away the U. Okay, will your game have YouTuber work with... be an art game like Arch? No, don't be sorry, Hayao. We'll figure it out. Just take your time. You got a while. We'll be here. It's okay. Hans has dyslexia too, but differently, isn't it? You have numbers or something.
Mine was a mild to moderate case. Remember right from way back when I was mixing up my B's and D's, and I was also a few grades behind when it came to reading, but it wasn't because I couldn't read, it's just a lot of the stuff that they asked me to read just wasn't interesting to me, so I just didn't do it.
Rome has conquered.
Also gave me yellow glasses. As in, like, the lenses themselves were like... The lenses themselves were tinted yellow, because the idea was that maybe, like, different colors would help me focus on the letters. The issue is, I ended up picking yellow because, like, from what I remember, like, the colors were, like, green, red, like, a light yellow, and it's like, well, out of all of these, I can see out of the yellow the best, but what that actually ended up doing was just hurting my eyes. So I never used them.
He died, apparently, before he got adopted. I didn't know that could happen. Alright.
If you have...
Oh, good.
If you have too many generals, that can sometimes happen.
Oh, chat's asking things that are kind of interesting. Clever little shits. So, first I'll read... You know what? I'll take those trade rates before I kill you. It'll help me build up the army I need to kill you. Yeah, thank you.
It might not actually be that much trade, honestly.
It might not be.
If you click on the settlement next to them, and hover over the road, it'll tell you.
41 income per turn.
Ooh.
I mean, it's helping offset the loss of funds.
Maybe you were about to read something.
Yeah, but
You said you were about to read something.
oh yeah, Moroccan Secret Agent says, as long as you put love into your project and enjoy, it will work out. Yeah, no, I do enjoy it. You're absolutely right about that too. The one thing is I want this to be successful because I have ridiculous ambitional dreams about it. Ambitional is not a word, but whatever. One thing I would like is like, oh, it'd be so cool if we could make like an anime or like a fucking movie out of it. Not likely, but that's just a daydream really while I work on things. Something to think about. Better to, you know, shoot for the moon and if you miss, you'll end up among the stars or something like that. You know, the drill. But, yeah. If it doesn't like turn out to be super profitable, I had that talk with the team. I'd be like, I'd be sad, and the team would be sad because they work so hard on it. But at the same time, a lot of us, you know, because I'll still pay people. I'll still be paying them. Just it won't be like, you know, gobs of money. It'll be just the same amount. But we'll keep working on games because I don't know. Currently, like, it's super fun to work on, and if it doesn't pan out to be a career, like, that would be a huge letdown. But I would not stop, just because, you know, it didn't work out the first time. I'd keep trying, and I'd keep trying to do it, you know, indie, because I don't want to work through the industry. I don't want to be a little bitch for a publisher. Like, I absolutely loathe the idea. I like the idea of me having, you know, total executive power over the creative decisions and stuff. So I can say, yeah, we're going to do that. Yeah, it might be a little bit spicy, but who cares? It's like, let's have fun with it. Now, Inquisitor Keo asks, Arch voice acting in your game would be fun. Maybe an Easter egg. We've considered the idea of that for the game, or some sort of narrative aspect for like a tutorial or something. Or like some sort of... I've got ideas, but I'm not going to say them outright. But besides that one. But for The Legend of Kanar, that lore series that we're working on, like, I asked Arch, I'm like, hey, I'll be willing to even pay you. And he's like, I'll do it for free. And I'm like, no. Like, I feel like I want him to get something out of it, because I feel bad if he just works hard on it and he doesn't get, you know, any monetary returns. So I'll be paying him to do some voice work for that. So he'll be narrating the Kanar series. That's the plan. It would be cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at their position up in the north, and honestly,
Yeah,
if you could probably push and take them.
probably. I just need peasants to be done. I'm gonna wait one turn. I don't have a lot of money. Can't afford to adopt you. There, now we're making money. And we probably can leave, I think. Settlement's pretty happy. Was it because of Roman? Yeah, they don't mind. See, what we do is attack one of their armies, or two. Like, what are their troops? Like, their troops are probably pretty weak. Oh, those are the weird purple-looking dudes. Okay, they're from Barbarian Invasion. Now we know where they're from. Now, they have gylo glasses. Those will be interesting. Can't afford that right now. Make sure to use the army now. Rush the Celts. If you take one mainland settlement, it'll take them quite a few. Yeah. But yeah, we've thought about that. Staying indie would be best. It's the same with book publishing now. You can sell it online. Yeah, generally, because, like, the problem with going with the publisher is they'd be like, that's a little bit, you know, intolerant. You can't really put that in there. Or you need to put more of these X groups in there. It's like, dude, like, if the characters are born in Astria, they're going to be Astrian. If they're born in Galay, they're going to be Galayan. Or whatever group of people migrated to Galay, because Galay is one of those areas where people are migrating to the dukedoms. If they're from friggin', you know, the Windlord regions, then they'll be black, like, or brownish, or whatever. Because down there is a desolate little desert. It's freaking toasty. You won't see like Windlords in Astria because, well, they didn't travel there. Like, why would they go there? They'd be like, oh, I'm in a foreign land where people here don't like me because I don't believe in their gods. It's kind of a whole thing about being a Windlord. You're not supposed to do that. I don't want to adopt you, god damn it.
Well, again, the game's trying to do it because the game is trying to give you generals.
Purple dudes are Celtic berserkers, Kibs. I know, we'll have to kill all of them. It's like they're murderer. Now look, green dude. It's nothing personal, Keyed. I'm just gonna declare war on you. Come back, I'm gonna...
At that point, I would have waited a turn.
I'm gonna have a lot less money, but I'll need them for the upcoming battle. No! You're probably
Yeah,
right.
my rationale around waiting a turn is now you don't have the movement, which means now their army can form up completely.
They can, but they chose not to, because they're dumb. They'll reinforce no matter what.
Depends. You might have been able to finagle it. So that you
It's
could have
fine.
attacked the army outside without
Yeah, it's
one
because you
inside.
position your army to go in there, but honestly, it makes it easier for me. I don't want to adopt you. Don't have a lot of money right now. Fuck. It'd be like a Cardovian being black. It'd be weird. Cardovians are little pasty bastards, but they're tall. I generally made it so that each race in Terrestria has like unique attributes, and we went with a little bit of extremities with that. Because the focus, instead of having like orcs, elves, and dwarves, I was like, that's a Tolkien idea. And I feel like if I just copy Tolkien, like that's just kind of lazy. So orcs, elves, and dwarves are banned. And like the sinification of Terrestria's quote-unquote Asia has also been banned, because it's too generic. Now if I attack at night... Damn. Looks like they get their reinforcements after all.
Yeah, some units have traits that they can basically get around that.
But yeah, that's how I do. There's a huge benefit from staying indie. Indie means that I don't have to worry about some corporate overlord telling me that I need to add a multiplayer mechanic like EA did with Visceral. I can focus on making the game the vision I have for it. And that's kind of what the thing is. Because as far as the team goes, like, team members refer to me as a visionary, which is why Bubbles exists and why Hands exists on the team in Fairman, because they're there to make sure that I don't do something stupid like George Lucas and make it Jar Jar Binks. Which I have made characters in the past where they look at that and they look at me and go like, are you sure about that? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Right-click, delete. They're not that bad, though. I don't think.
They cower behind their walls and pray for help. The balance of numbers favors us, I see. This is good. I do not believe in giving the enemy an
Like
easy
George R. R.
time.
Martin? No.
I have never lost a battle against these people. Why should I start losing now?
I haven't seen anything quite like what we're making, but there probably is something out there.
Is at hand.
I've only consumed so much fantasy media, and I've tried to avoid consuming any more to try to begin eroding away at inspirations.
The hour when we test Roman courage.
Because I don't like the idea of just like following in someone else's footsteps. Like, Tolkien does what Tolkien does, and he's the best at it. Like, I'm not gonna fucking muck with that crap. And I wanted to make what I want to make. I don't want to make what George R. Martin made. I don't want to make what The Matrix made. I want to make something cool and something I kind of like, which is none of those things. Now, let's see. We're gonna have to do these dudes. I'm gonna have to get in there kind of quick, because they're gonna be reinforcing soon. Of course not. But that's also incorrect at the same time. So the idea of originality being dead is a ridiculous statement if you don't know exactly what you're talking about. Originality is not dead in terms of creativity. Now the reason for this is quite simple. Every artist has a unique brushstroke. No artist I've ever worked with has ever had the same brushstroke. No writer I've ever talked with or looked at their work is ever the same. They're always unique. Now there's people who try to copy or imitate, but they can only, you know, imitate. They'll never be as good as the original, or they'll be unique because they're different. When it comes to like originality and stuff like that, it's all about execution, and it's about, you know, how it's portrayed. Like, okay, you have humans in your universe. Almost everything has humans in their universe. Almost everything. If you're talking about science fiction. For example, Star Wars has humans.
It is nice to have a race that most people can touch base on.
But they're not the same. Like, humans in Star Wars are not humans in 40K. Or Starship Troopers. They're vastly different things. They behave and have different cultures altogether. But it's all about execution. You can be original, but you need to know what you're doing. Are you going to be original in the sense that you are making something that has never before ever existed? No. Is Legends of Terrestria something that has never ever existed in the history of ever? No. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. But I do believe that its execution is something that will make it unique. Like, I can't think of a single story that has captured me in the way Nier's story did for Yoko Taro's game. Or has been ever... There's dogs! Oh, there's dogs right there!
Yeah, that's fine. You should be able to deal with that.
I'm not gonna attack. Grab that. Okay, they're gonna go through the gate. I thought they were gonna intercept me. I was like, if I had known they were coming from there, I would have moved here to intercept that army. That's one of those coulda, shoulda, fucking woulda, and didn't. Wait, we can still maybe shoot them to death. No, yeah, I think they're shooting. Ready, aim. Cody Davis says, I gotta go to bed. Got to be a wage slave in the morning. Alright, Cody. Good night.
Yep, have a good one.
But yeah, that's what I try to tell people, because I know some artists and writers get a little disheartened. They're like, I can't be, like, I just don't know what to do. Like, it's not unique. Like, it's just the same. And it's like, stop thinking like that. Like, your story's gonna be unique, but you need to be critical of it. It's like, okay, how are you executing that? Like, what is Astria? The Astrian Empire. That's the thing that I doubted. That was the thing, that was my big doubt. When I was making the Astrian Empire, I was like, this is just the Romans. And so I tried to break away from that, because I didn't want it to be just Roman, because I just thought that was boring. I wanted something different. I wanted something that made it something malleable to the story. Something that I thought would fit in the culture and the setting that I wanted. And I realized that Romans weren't the answer. And so I was like, maybe the Greeks. So I tried taking a lot more Greek influences. So if you look at Astria now, compared to when it started, like, it was super Romanized and industrialized, and then it was de-industrialized and de-Romanized, and then de-Greekified. After it was Greekified, it was weird. It had quite the growth period, okay? And then I was like, you know, what if I just stopped thinking like that? What if I just write it the way I want to write it without doing too much inspiration? And then I was like, okay, let's think about how this culture would develop. And I'm like, I'll use other cultures on Terra as a reference panel. Be like, okay, so how do civilizations generally develop on Earth? And I was like, okay, look at regions, locations, and like weather conditions, food. How do they, you know, get food? How does it work? And so we built a world map. This world map became 15 gigabytes big, where we did the tectonic plates, we did the water currents, we did the air currents, and like the heat map to show where the heat is and where rainfall is, and then we did river maps, then we did mountains and elevation, so we could get a feeling for like, okay, where's the high bits, the low bits, you know, what would work there, what kind of animals lived there, how did things form, and then that made everything snap together. Like, that's when it really came together. But also, at the same time, I just remember having a headache working on that map. But I also you gotta thank Bubbles for that map, because Bubbles Bubbles is the one like, no, we are going to do the tectonic plates. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do the tectonic plates. So I had to do research on tectonic plates, how they work, how they came to be, and okay, it's like, and what they do. It's like, okay, they do this and this and this. So how do the tectonic plates work on terrestrial? It's like, okay, so we have Earth as a template for inspiration for all planets. Got it. That's easy. On paper. And so working. And then I basically fitted the little nations together because I had drawn out the shapes of each country. I was like, okay, I want Austria to look kind of like this. I want the Nefer Accord to look like this. I want, the Galilean Republic to look like that. And I want, the Cardovian Konigers to look like this. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to fit them there. That means you should be over there. And I was like, I didn't like that. So I switched continents over and flipped them around a little bit. And I was like, you know what? That looks good. And then I decided that I wanted it to look kind of like Earth in a little bit because I took so much inspiration from it. I wanted it to give a familiar feel. So that when you look at the planet, you look at the geography, you're like, that feels familiar. That feels like I can connect to it. And so I was like, okay, I've got a simple idea here. Let's flip it around. 180 degrees, horizontal flip. So I did. I flipped it again. And I was like, and then I rotated a little bit, and I was like, there we go. And then I had to fix everything again because, the equator, that changes things. And that's where I was able to figure out where, certain countries go. Now, this doesn't really affect the game. That was, like, when we're working on the game, we're working on, like, mechanics and functions. But this is more the lore, the world building and story stuff. Fucking love history, inspiration, or inspiration over contemporary fiction, fantasy and fiction, excuse me. Yeah, honestly, that was the one thing, like, okay, when you're writing a culture or civilization, we only have one point of reference, and that is Earth. So it's like, okay, what can we look at Earth? Some people look at ants, like, let's look at the colonies and how they work, and that's how they make, like, the Tyranids or the Zerg or whatever. And then, they're like, let's look at the Zoroastrian people of Persia, or, the Parthians or whatever. And they're like, okay, let's pull inspiration from that. So there's only so much to draw from, because it's not like I can make up a culture with, like, no frame of reference. Because if you do that, what happens is it feels disconnected because it is disconnected. You have no referential point, because cultures and civilizations are really, 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 really complicated. And how they grow, how they develop, how they evolve, how the friction between other cultures affects them, the trade, and the sea lanes and the sea trade. That's also a thing that we had to factor in, the sea trade lanes. It's like, okay, what cultures know what? Oh my god, my tismy brains are going off. Welcome to the stream, Connor. How I became a geologist through video game development. I mean, honestly, writing the lore for Terrestria, I've learned so much, and I learned that I know absolutely nothing about everything.
Congratulations, welcome to Dunning-Kruger effect. And then realizing it's a thing.
I mean, I don't know. Like, if I want to write some science fiction stuff, I've got to do research on space stuff. Because originally I had, and I've done some science fiction work. And then I was like, you know what, this doesn't make a lot of sense. And I showed it to Bubbles, and Bubbles was like, scientifically speaking, what you suggest is absolutely impossible. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need to rework that. I can't say what that was specifically, but it was a bit silly in hindsight. And so I reworked it, and I was like, okay, let's make it more feasible. So how would that actually work? How would that draw power or energy? And that's when I realized, like, when we're doing the energy discussion, I was like, our magic system, let's make it like a science. Wouldn't it be cool if it was like a science, so we could define how things work and make rules for how magic works for the various pantheons and gods and faiths throughout Terrestria? And that was kind of a cool idea that really appealed to me. And so we did that. We made different sciences, well, not different sciences. We made a singular science, so to speak, if you could call it that. It's made up bullshit. But, on how magic works. And they're like, okay, from these rules, we establish what magic can and can't do within each respective culture and civilization. So we defined the rules of the universe. And with our universal rulebook on how to create magics and lores and fantasies and how pantheons are born and how gods come to be and how souls work and how everything works, literally space and time and anything. Like, can a soul be severed from a mortal body? And is it different per religion? Like, does it matter? That's the kind of stuff that was fun. That was the fun stuff. Defining what magic can and can't do. Now, we're not even quite done with that because we finished the preliminary work with that, which took about a year. That was off and on because we're working on the game as well, so, you know, we're doing multiple things. But yeah, from that we were able to figure out... Oh, we got a donation. Robert Renato Hack donates 1,000 huffs. He huffed and he puffed to say...
He did.
World building is the best thing ever. You literally have the job of God. Lol, love it. It's kind of fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, even if you just want to try it for fun, I seriously just think you should try it. It's like drawing. It can just be kind of fun and relaxing. Even if you're not really good at it, you don't need to be. You don't need to be. You just need to have fun with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Thank you for the donation. Heil donates £5, say, with orc out of the game, will it be filled with furry and mutt? Or are you're getting sassy now. Or are you making new monster based off the world in monster folklore? Yeah, that's actually one thing I wanted to do. So, I saw things like European folklore, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we pulled more from folklore? There's one thing I was talking with recently with our new friend, our new musician that we have. I'm not going to say his name at the moment, just because, out of respect, because I know he wants it to be a little bit anonymous at the moment. But we were discussing like music and stuff, and I was like, hey, what if we did like, for the Astrian culture, I have this idea in my head that the music in the game will be reflective of each culture, so that you have a unique feel in every aspect of Terrestria. Not only is the art and culture of each people unique, but the music will reflect that as well, and I think that would be really cool. So like Astria should have this cool like Astrian-styled music, and when you go to Galay, or Cardovia, or, you know, the plains of Ogorial, or Gorial, or Gorial. I would have such a hard time pronouncing that. Gorial. Like, it'll have different, like, music to reflect each region. If you're in the Sea of Apollonia versus the Northern Marium Sea, like, whatever. Or ocean. Getting it backwards now. Thank you for the donation, by the way. But that's the idea with that. And it would be so cool if the music reflected that, so it's, like, super cultural based and also character based. So, like, the individuals that in this world are also important. Like, one of my core philosophies on the game's design in terms of narrative has been to focus on character above almost everything. The individuals of Terrestria are what's going to make Terrestria really shine more than anything else. Their thoughts, how they feel, their culture, you know, their morality, because every culture has their own vices and virtues. What they like what's a vice in Astria might be a virtue in the Nephira Court, and the Rakiri Raiders to the north, or the Neneri Conquerors, or is it the Neneri Conquerors? I can never remember. I can't remember all the sub-tribes.
Yeah, I would have to look at the document.
The Rakiri to the north, the Nephira are to the south, the Nenri are to the northeast inside the Horde, and I can't remember the other ones offhand. Sub-factions are more difficult for me because it gets a little bit more artistic, especially for larger Horde-based nations. Nations is a loose word. Are they going to leave? Come back. I want to keep shooting you. I'm annoyed that you guys have pikemen. Like, that's what bothers me the most in this battle. That's why I've been sort of, like, hesitating, because I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh. What's going on here?
Barbarians, they charge sometimes without orders.
That might work to Kibs' advantage.
Actually might.
Now, will they do this more often?
It depends.
These are the blue boys.
Oh, that's, potentially bad.
What about this charge? Which was interestingly executed. No, stop that.
I actually would have tried to kite them, because the thing about any berserking unit,
Oh, that hurts.
they do a lot of damage, as you just saw.
That's absurd. That unit just routed. Make me feel better. God to have mercy. God to have mercy. Brace goes flying! Oh my god.
Basically just range them down.
Alright, there's not that many left. Oh my god, the Blueberry Boys. They made me pay a higher cost amount of men I would have expected. That right there was disgusting.
Berserking units are no joke.
That is for certain.
To be fair, you also sent in the light cav.
Okay, so he was asking... We didn't finish answering your question, Heil. I apologize. So, monsters and races like that. That was an interesting question, because it begged the question, like, if you look at the giants of Budanoa, they are based off a genetic strain of the Estozi, which is a mutation where they are much larger. They are ridiculously tall, to the point where the bone structure of a person or a being cannot sustain that much weight. So they actually have problems where sometimes they grow and they grow too big and then their legs break, and that's not good, especially for a being of that size. Very bad. So we try to make them somewhat practical. Like, I've been working on my fucking my crabs for a long time, because giant crabs are difficult to work with, you know, physics existing. It's like, how do these little shits do anything? And then you just sort of realize that they have to be in water. And so you just work with it. It's like, okay. Like, water helps displace the weight a little bit, so it can support a larger mass. But if it's too deep under certain pressure, it can't, you know, inhabit that. So what does it eat? Where does it live? And with the water current maps and the heat maps, we can tell kinda where certain things would be in, like, the water. Like, okay, that's kind of helpful. So it's like, okay, this thing should be here because this. Is it gonna be perfect? No, probably not. Does it need to be perfect? No. No, it doesn't. Not in my opinion. It just needs to be believable. It needs to be fun. But above all else, it needs to be fun. And that's the most important thing. Because the game should be fun. The crabs I had in mind were very special. When I told the artist what I wanted, they were like, what? I had strange ideas. I only managed to creep out one person, though. I was a little disappointed with that.
That happens.
I mean, I think they're
And,
friggin' creepy to begin with, but that's just me.
And yeah, like I told you, honestly, the best thing for berserkers is just range them down.
I mean, I'm trying to range these guys down. I'm just kind of hoping that they'll, like, keep walking in the way of the door so I can shoot them. Because I'm thinking I'll just waddle back out of this battle and then I'll just siege them out.
That is the downside of some of the early battles in, well...
I just can't afford to lose. I can't afford to lose an army.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's more of those berserkers in there, and so that's what's making me hesitate now. Like, I can't get in there. I can't.
You can kind of trick the AI. Basically get the AI to try to chase a cavalry unit. And then you have it run around, but close enough so that's the closest unit. And then you just shoot them.
I think they'll walk in front of that door again. I could also try to walk closer and try to poke them a little. What about elves? No elves. No elves, no orcs, no dwarves, no token things. Token things are token things. But I didn't want... And we also operate under the idea that alpha species. So it's like, okay, as life forms develop on a planet, generally at a certain point, even in ours, because we use Terra as a reference for all this shit, because it's the only reference we have. It's like, okay, generally an alpha predator will, like, ascend to the top of the food chain. Once it's beaten or killed or made every other one extinct, that is a threat. And they do that relatively quickly. Like, elves, dwarves, and orcs are not a realistic thing. They're a fun thing, though. Like, they're fun, but it's not likely. Because more than likely, those animals, those things, would have migrated around because humans did at such a stage before civilization. Like, we were everywhere. Just like elves or orcs would have waddled everywhere, too. And they generally see something that's different, and they go, I'm gonna kill you. I don't like you. Or they intermingle, and then they become one, so to speak. Or form into a sort of new crossbreed race. Sort of hybrid almost. Because that's what happened with different versions of humanity. Like, we decided to fuck each other, kill each other, eat each other. Until there was only really, like, a couple variations left. And the ones that are left are very minor. Like, the variations we have are very similar to each other. With some minor differences in bone structure and skin pigment. And that mostly has to do with, like, locale and dietary habits. What kind of food you have access to is a big role in that, too. How much sun exposure you have to deal with, how harsh is the living conditions, what are the neighboring things, like other people and stuff like that, and how that affects the development of a society. Oops, excuse me, I have hiccups. I'll donate £10. As an idea, one mission, you go through a town/village, but if you stop and talk to the people, you find out their folklore. What could lead to a side boss fight, or a joke side quest, whence, I assume, hold on. Puppies are attacking. Just have to be aware of that. Well, a boss fight, a joke, could add to your lore. I mean, I've got different ideas, but that's not something I'm opposed to. Like, personally, I think how the lore should be told to people is through stories. Or through character. Like, I should never have to tell. I should more have to show. Show, not tell. Generally is what I prefer to do. So, you're not going to learn about the Olnir invasions of, was it 600 AE or whatever? I can't remember when they took place anymore. Or the Olnir Empire, or the Astro Crimson Wars. Unless somebody really just tells you, because, like, it's not something that's like, oh, here's just a random lore dump about the 3 Astro Crimson Wars that were massive. It's, like, that's not something that's just going to happen. I mean, we are shooting them. I don't intend to go in there, but I intend to kill as many as I can. And now, we can kill more of them with these horsies. Now, you know what else we could do? Damn, those guys had precursor weapons, and they're now not able to use them. Thank you for the donation, by the way. But I've got tons of ideas on how to do the story. The big thing, though, when it comes to the story and quest progression, is I want to focus primarily on the main story. I feel like too many games sidetrack the main story, especially in RPGs, and where it feels more like a chore and not interesting, I want to put my primary focus into that first. So for each chapter, I want to do, like, focus. Here's my plan. It might not work out this way, but this is the way I envision it working, because we have yet to get to this point. I plan on working the primary quest lines and stories where I actually get to write the dialogue and actually do decision stuff, instead of just like, okay, this happens, check mark. Like, actually getting to write dialogue. That's going to be different. But how I want to handle that is, like, working on it that way, but we do it chapter by chapter, segment by segment, and we just worry about that. So each chapter will be done, and it's like, okay, here's how long it takes to beat the chapter and its primary quest to get through it. How much additional content should we add to this that would feel appropriate and be worthwhile? Because I don't want to add pointless side quests that aren't fun, but I also don't want the game to be short, you know? And so it's a balance, really. So you gotta figure out, like, okay, it takes this long to complete chapter 1. Okay, with that information, it's like, let's say it's like, an hour. Well, it's not bad. Chapter 1's supposed to be kind of short. Like, it depends on what the goal of it, right? It's like, or it's like, ooh, that's really short, and that needs to be longer. That needs to be like at least a couple more hours longer. It's like, okay, that's not really excusable. So there's like some primary quests that have to be reworked or rebalanced to be a little bit better for pacing wise, because pacing is important when storytelling. And then it's like, okay, what would be really cool for a side quest that would help, expand a character? Because a lot of the side quests, you can do lots of cool establishing moments with different cultures and civilizations and unique characters from different regions, but I think it's important that it does something with the main character. Or not maybe the main character, but the various party characters and characters that are part of your party. Like, how do they deal with that? And the problem then comes is like, okay, it's a video game. You have options, unfortunately. So that means, I'm joking, by the way. that means you can bring, you know, different characters with you. Okay, so if you bring Aya and Nezra into a Galean village, instead of bringing, like, Waylon or some character who's a native there, well, now, if you talk to a certain character, you're not gonna have any foreknowledge with that character, and you can't be like bridge the gap. So the confrontation might be slightly different. It might become more hostile because you don't know the customs and you offend them somehow. Or vice versa. It might be better because, you know, it turned out that the other guy actually owed them money. And it was on particularly bad terms. You might get different context giving certain situations too. There's so much to do and so much possibility, but it always boils down to, like, there's not that actual much. Because when you get to it, it's like, okay, then you got to make it. It's like you have to make a decision. It can only be one thing or a couple things. It can't be everything. But the possibilities are limitless. And that's the fun part, is getting to decide which one you're going to go with. But making sure it's the right one and the best one. Make a Joe Biden stand-in mage character that constantly forgets his spell. We will never do that. Mostly because we have a big policy on no...
Keeping contemporary politics out of it.
Yes, no contemporary politics. Left, right, center, I don't care. Terrestria is not Earth. Terrestria has nothing to do with our crummy planet. I'd rather live on... No, kidding. But not. We have electricity. They don't. But, I would rather keep that not involved. Because I feel like too many authors and writers insert cringy left-leaning or right-leaning politics, which have no place in fantasy. The idea of Legends of Terrestria, outside of its vision, is that it's an IP and a universe in which is its own contained element. It's its own thing, it's its own world, with its own politics. Astria already has its own politics. I don't need real-life politics bleeding in, because it's too complicated, and I'm probably not going to be able to fit in all the terrestrial politics I'd love to fit into the game. So I'm not going to waste time delegating it to American politics, which are cringe as is.
Who needs contemporary politics when the game's going to have plenty of its own?
Yeah. Whether
In
House
universe.
Lord, you know, Rostocles or fucking... you know, whoever, or maybe House Concordia, you know, is like the big beef. Like, that's what matters in Astrian politics. The various House Lords and external pressures, like the Nafir Court, breathing down their neck all the time. Thank you for the donations, by the way. Bootleg donates 20 pesos to say, Kibs, what would be you do if you got isekai'd? Suicide. I have too much self-respect to be isekai'd. I don't want that to happen. I'd be depressed.
That's in the wife who's bringing you back via magic, and it's like, no, let me die, and they're like, never.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't want to be isekai'd. The idea that's just, like, awful. Like, I want to make my game. I can't do that in a fictitious fantasy universe that doesn't have computers. Sala's not there to work on art. If I got isekai'd to Terrestria, I'd be frigging depressed. I do not want to be isekai'd there. That would be awful. I feel like I'm sleepy. Would you do if you actually got fucked over and isekai'd into your fantasy world? I don't want to go there. Like, I don't want to go to church. I don't want to go to my universe. I know what's there. I don't want to be there. No. If I actually ended up there, that would be awful. And there'd be nothing I could do about it. It might be easier to just die. That would be terrible. That'd be like getting fucking isekai to Warhammer. Like, I'm committing suicide in either. Impetuous. I just like saying that because that's what they are. We're gonna lose. It's gonna balance out in the timer, but we're just gonna keep forcing them to do little skirmishes here because it's costing them a lot of men.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is good for us. It's gonna be a 2-part siege because we need our manpower to be intact in case the WRE does send a ship full of boys over. Unipathing, you're hurting me. Stop it. Are they coming out? There. Mine is being derpy, though. But what if you got OP powers and a harem of girls on your first day? Dude, it wouldn't matter.
But you're forgetting that the harem of girls, it's like, oh, that sounds so nice. Until you realize they're going to act like actual girls, and it's like, no, he's mine.
It's not even that. Like, I don't want to be isekai'd there because I know what's there. It's not a place I would ever want to actually visit or see. It's cool to think about, and it's cool to like, oh, cool, look at art of it. Look at the, characters from that world. Or that IP. That universe. But it's not something you'd be like, oh, I want to be there. Like, hell no. Like, I don't even know why people be like that. Like, what? If the game takes off, will there be other titles set earlier or later in the universe? The possibilities are absolutely limitless. There are so many stories in this universe that I want to tell that I only decided that I could tell. Like, the thing about Terrestria is called 116, or is it 117? I get the two numbers mixed up. It's either one. It's basically the number of something, okay? Number of a story, or a footnote, okay? It didn't even have a name until we were like, okay. Because Tyler and I were like, we're going to make a game set in this universe. And then we looked at the universe, and we looked at the documents, which I have in a big giant brown box behind me. And we realized that it's just bloated and there's too much stuff. Like, we can't make the main story in just a game. Like, that was not a possibility. So, we were realistic. It's like, let's base it off a footnote. Let's start as small as possible so we can make it... We can start with a clean slate so we can think, outside the box and sort of reinvent it, but make it, like, more realistic, because instead of our ridiculous childhood dream sort of mentation. And it's like, okay. So we did that. And things became a lot more clear with Terrestria, as eventually it got its name. And I'm like, okay, Terrestria's gonna be like this, it's gonna be do this, and this is the story that happens. Here's the character that, is gonna be there, and they're like, okay, now we need more characters, now we need more, okay, what's the technological level? And then it was industrial, and then it was like, no, too far, wind it back. Let's go to late antiquity. Stuff like that. You just sort of figure it out as you go. Figure it out as you go, and you keep working. And if you make a mistake, it's okay to make mistakes. Remember that. In fact, making mistakes is great, because now you know what you don't want to do. That is how I always look at that. It's like when we had the industrial tech of Astria, and there was like choo-choos and stuff, I was like, yeah, but like, now that there's guns, like swords don't make a lot of sense anymore, and nor does armor, because these bullets and their technological level, like, it's just a bullet's gonna go right through.
Mm-hmm. It's cheaper and easier to train someone to use a gun than to use, well, a sword.
To master a sword. And it's like, yeah, I don't want that. So I was like, okay, wind it back. And say, okay, we're at a point in which it's, set in 1022 AE. Technology is more advanced than our 1022 AE, but not by much. But that's because it's the ideas we went for. It's like, let's say the Astrian Empire, because the core idea started as like the Astrian Empire is kind of like Rome, okay? It's like, what if Rome never really fell? What if, the antiquity sort of mindset of pre-Puritanism and Catholicism, and what if that sort of like way of thinking things through sort of persevered and continued to evolve unmolested by any other sort of external influences? It's like, okay, and that's what we sort of worked with. That's how we got to 1022 and the crisis of 1022. Mistakes are a learning lesson. Yes, they are. That's the thing I didn't like about Fable. Which thing specifically? I've said so many things, I think I've forgotten some of the things I've said.
I think it's in reference to weapons and magic and all that jazz.
Yeah. Like, I want gunpowder, but I don't want gunpowder to be strong, in the sense that it's strong enough to override everything. So it's like, what era of gunpowder technology exists? And it's like, okay, let's look at flintlock. And like, flintlock is really advanced. Scary. Too advanced, maybe. It's like rifling. No. Blasphemy. It's like, what's better? Matchlock. Yes. Burning ropes with tubes with powder stuffed down them and maybe a ball or maybe some dirt. I love the idea of that. So gunpowder weapons are still powerful, but they're not reliable enough to override things. Because I like the idea of cannons. When making the walls of the city of Pyria, I was like, I want that tower, one of the sea towers, to have a cannon on top. Don't ask me why. I just want a cannon to be up there. The other one can have like some sort of onager or balliste. I'm not sure. I can't remember what we decided to put on the other sea tower. Because there's 2 sea towers for Pyria that raise a great sea chain. Keeps the port safe. Pretty standard. Are you still praying? One of you monks are. Oh, I thought the monks were doing their thing. Weird. Weird, chat. I kind of want to show you guys the new character, but I can't. No, maybe I can. I just can't show you the PP. I just can't. That's the problem. That's the whole, like, thing about the Astrian culture is like, PP out on a statue. Whatever. Also, that's another big thing. So while doing research on statues, which I didn't know this, or no, I think I might have known that, but it's like one of those, like, bits of information I was like, that's not useful. Throw it away. But I rediscovered or relearned this, because I feel like I knew this before. But, like, Greek statues and Roman statues generally reflect body standards that they had in the ancient world. And it's like, okay, the idea of a little peepee, right? A little peepee, small peepee, okay? That was because, well, from what we believe, the Greeks and Romans were like, having a big peepee means you're dumb and you're a savage. Having
Small PP equals big brain.
small peepee, big brain, sophisticated, civilized, desirable, even by women. Like, that's weird because if you look at it nowadays, it's kind of like an inflex, you know. Is this going to be an XX game? No. This isn't designed to be that way. But it's designed to keep every, like, the artistic vision attached. Like, I want those statues to be there because it represents, you know, Astrian culture and values. So I feel like that's important. And if there's a PP on it, then there's a PP on it. So be it. Whatever. It's a fucking stone. It's not even a real PP. It's just a shape like one. Okay? Oh yeah, that's the other thing. So when we're doing like Astria, like we were looking up, you know, researching, and one thing I was annoyed by all the fantasies that did antiquity cultures, like everything's so sterile, it's so marble, so colorless. It's like you're telling me like even these barbarians didn't like have little flags or banners to decorate their buildings or paint their buildings with anything? Like they did, some of them, not all, because generally you don't want to live in a sterile marble-looking building because that's boring. Like, that's no color. You think that humans back then were different from humans now? No, they liked looking at color. So they painted their buildings. They painted their statues. They were vibrant people, and they painted art, and they had artists and stuff like that. And stuff like that. Nowadays, the culture is going degenerate. Big PP anaconda whap. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, that's just like a cultural thing. Big PP, small PP, don't care. Like, it can be whatever size. The important thing for me is, like, just keeping that vision. Not of the PP. of the art style. Like, that was something we talked with Sala about. Like, okay, Astrian art. What the fuck does that look like? Like, what is their artistic understanding? Do they understand, you know, two-point perspective? Probably not. That's a pretty advanced art theorem. But just because we invented things certain ways does not mean that Terrestrian invented them in the same way. Mostly because that's boring and that's just copy-paste. So it's like, okay, how did the windmill come about in Terrestrial? Has it come about yet? Do they even know about its existence? What's the understanding of crop rotation, you know? Architecture. How do they build their buildings? What kind of methodology do they use? Do they like arches? Do they like, you know, domes? Do they use pillars? You know, what kind of materials is it made out of? And you'll notice that if you look at some of the, oh god, the amount of tismy things we do. I hope people notice these things. But like, what was it? The one sheet shows southern and northern Astrian culture. Because on mainland Astria, there are two different cultures. There's the northern types, which are Taurians and the Lanians. And then there's the southern, which are the Astrians, and then the Isticlesians, but they're... By this point in 1022, they're very much merged with the Astrian culture. They're very synonymous, like Helvest is, even though Helvest is on Krynos, which is a different continent to the south. But you'll notice like different architectural styles. So the Northerners use certain building materials like more brick and mortar, versus the Southerners use more pillars and large marbles because they have more access to like stones like that and larger quarries. Versus the Seaborn, which is a different religion within the Empire and a different subculture because of how they were integrated. Well, they all technically are different cultures, but a lot of them have universalized the religion and faith. But the Seaborn have a very unique portrayal of their architecture and their style. If you look at the Seaborn versus Northern and Southern Astrians, they look almost a little bit different, like they're still in the sphere of influence, but they're very unique. Angron, the Angriest Boy. Love your it says, are the boy tribe in this game, or were they in later TWs? Regrettably, our boy tribe is not in Rome Total War. It is in Rome 2 Total War. And I believe that's the only Total War it's in. However, there may be mods that do add it. I believe some of the mods for Medieval 2 that take the game back to antiquity would probably add it. Small PP, huge ball, equal dash best genetics. Little degen. Nowadays, the culture is going degenerate. Big PP Anaconda Web. I read that already, dummy. Did you hear Iron Harvest is adding the US as a new faction and an expansion pack this month? Yes, I did. I'll probably getting it. I know Arch wants to stream it, so we'll probably do it. Or something, maybe? I don't know. We might just take a look at it. It might be bad. I don't know. Like, we might play it and go like, you know? But I'll be giving it a shot. I was not very impressed with Iron Harvest campaign, to the point where I just sort of didn't like it that much. And the game just sadly fell out of interest for me, because, I don't know. The campaign really soured me. It just felt very soulless. 3 minutes and 49 seconds. But you know what we did? We killed a fuck ton of them, and it really only cost us mercenaries. And some of our monks. And a lot of our horses. But I feel like this battle has turned out quite well. Yeah, we're cheesing a little bit by having the archers, you know, plop some crossbolts into the back of these poor little shits. But I'm pretty confident we can get them in the next battle. Pictish Spearmen. Pictish Spearmen are pikemen. I do not believe that the Picts had pikemen. I just don't know why Rome Total War, but you can't really convince me that they had pikemen. I just don't believe that. Like, I'm sure they had spears. But pikes? Like, these pikes are fairly short, so maybe.
Maybe they're just counting the long spears and just saying, close enough to pike.
I don't know. I feel a little skeptical about that. So I just a statue version of nude archwaffles. What? What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't even know. Really seems like someone failed their homework. The boy were all over Austria and Lower Germany at the time. Oh no, you are correct about that. But Rome Total War 1 is not really super accurate to history at all. Like, Rome Total War is based on history, and that's where I draw the line. Because we're playing Barbarian Invasion. This is set in 463 AD, so it's towards the end of the Roman Empire. Wait, is it 463 AD? By this point, the WRE should be, like, shattered.
For this battle, the battle timer is actually going to take effect.
I know. I've just been chilling, chatting.
Yep.
Not the puppies. The puppies should already be dead. I think I killed them somewhere over there. Shoot them, shoot them. Damn it, they walk too fast. You missed!
You might want to try changing the formation so it's more in line with the door.
Like this? Is that what you're telling me?
It might help you a bit more. Might.
Hey, you guys see them? You can shoot them. Don't do anything weird.
I love when archers do this.
Don't do that.
Like, they clearly have line of sight, but they just get finicky.
Oh, they do that.
Attack! Fire at will!
Switch. It's gonna be a good throw, boys. That's a really good throw.
Unleash hell!
Okay, you know what? Just run in there and kill as many as you can. If you can kill any. It's just that it was meant to referring to the PP image. Oh, okay. Oh, did we post the art? No, we didn't, because I was going to write a little bit of lore about it. I generally like to attach a little bit of lore, even if it's basic. Then I feel bad about attaching too much, so then I, like, sort of stopped doing it, so I'm, like, very basic with it lately. So I'm like, no, I feel like I'm just giving too much away. Like, they should just find that out in the game. But at the same time, I want to talk about it, but at the same time, I can't. It's the sadness. So, Assassin's Creed of RTS. It's not that loose. It's loose, but I wouldn't say it's Assassin's Creed, because Assassin's Creed has aliens. And, like, fantasy things or something. Or, like, a precursor human race or something. I can't remember. There's no way they'll recover from that battle. Those little shits are dead.
Yep, just gotta attack him again, and then at that point you'll win.
I hate you. Stop. I can't afford you. I can't. They keep sieging me Porto. Faction destroyed. Eastern Roman rebels. Well, that was quick. This once mighty people. It's only just a rebellion.
Don't worry about it.
Imperator,
No, do that.
engage the enemy. Besieging
Ooh, we're minus 40? That's not good. Well, we can attack right away.
Yep, because it keeps the damage on the walls.
Let's get the other army here, so we can kill both. Okay. So I had mentioned earlier that I was going to show PP. No, that I wasn't going to do that. Sal hasn't finished my lolly character. Sad. Yes, we can show that. Finally, you get to see the party god, Bejardo. He is so cool. Also, Sal misspelled him. Okay, he abbreviated him. Look, no PP. A bit of a butt, though. Look at that. This is the earlier version, so it's not the finished concept. But that is the god of the Starborn Pantheon of celebration. Celebration, partying, like, there's a bunch of things and aspects he represents beyond that. I can't remember them all. His constellation is of wine. I don't even know. That's a modern dressed Rhea, but I can't show that. So I was having fun drawing the waifus, the heiresses of the Empire, but making them all
drawing them.
making them all wear modern,
before night comes
like,
again, this
clothing.
battle will be over. Whether the day goes well or ill is in our hands.
Arrgh.
The gods will favor those who help themselves, so take up your arms and prepare.
And help yourselves.
Fortunes are bad, my friends.
What do you mean?
But I do not care. I know that I have brave men at my back, and only the enemy in front of me. And draw strength from this fact. The enemy are so loathed that no ally can be found to support them. They think their walls are enough to stop us.
There's
They
big
should
holes in
think
it.
Again. We outnumber them by a large margin, but this may drive them to foolhardy defiance. Be careful.
Nah, it's still
I
the A.
fought these
You're
people
fine.
Before, and now
Yeah.
I thirst for revenge.
Morning, Jimby.
Today we shall slake our thirst for blood. Today is Victory Day. Some of us will soon lie dead. The rest will drink to their memory. But As always, we Romans will fight with honor!
As it shows the crossbow units. Only if they win. Fight with honor. Crossbows with AB.
Mercenaries go there. Looks like they repaired the gate. Cheeky little gits.
That's why you break the other parts of the wall to guarantee entrances.
The enemy have brought up more men.
Automation mercenaries. I do like that raspy voice they get for the barbarians. Barbarian mercenaries. It's like, oh no, they're dirty.
There.
Hey, don't do that. I gotta move them over there. Dick. Back here. Pew, 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 pew. Oh yeah, we're getting this. They're dying this time. What I learned from Total War game is that Rome used a stone golem to defeat Sparta. Oh, you're talking about Total War Sparta. Or Total Warrior Sparta. That was a cool little Creative Assembly knockoff game series. The Viking one, Battle for Asgard or whatever, that one wasn't as good. It was a weird game, but it was a fun game. Unit pathing will be the death of you! Maybe. Pew 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 pew. Okay, I'll speed this up a little. I feel generous. But I'm a little nervous when I look at chat now. Are spear warbands to pin, then flank with berserkers still OP? If you play the vanilla version, yeah, because it uses the vanilla stats. Or set up to use the vanilla stats and vanilla balance. But we're using, in this campaign, we're using the remastered rebalances, and the remaster changes to the campaign map, so it's not the same for this one. I don't know. It still might work. Like, certain strategies are still viable, but I noticed certain things I tried to do have resulted in some whiplash that I was not expecting. But I partially blame unit pathing for that. All we need to do is just keep shooting them. Is there more war puppies? There are. Let's see what the enemy army does when they get in the city. See if they come over to play. Oh, what the hell? Why does it minimize Twitch chat all the time? No, I mean, there are people hanging out on Twitch, but there's just lurking. How's the lack of sleep going, says Mordecai. It's going. I'm hanging in there. Problem is that I don't have the energy, even with sleep, to write, because I just don't. Like, I've tried. Well, I do, like, for little things. Like, helping out with Bijaros, like, little details and symbols and stuff like that. That wasn't too much. But, like, I find that I have been... not that I'm creatively, like, dry at the moment, like, in terms of, like, writing. It's like, I have the desire to write, but I don't have the energy to do it. All I have the energy to do is sort of just sit around when I get home. And just, like, kind of go, like, I'm exhausted. But it's not too bad. Once reports are done, that'll get a lot easier. Hopefully I'll have them done by tomorrow. So that will help with that. But that's only been the last, like, 2 days? Because once reports start, reports are just stressful. I'd be lying to say if I wasn't stressing about them all the time. It's at the end of each month. The beginning of every month is when reports start. And so every month it's stressful. But right now it's a little bit more stressful because I also have to take care of my
Make sure
dad.
that Pops is doing well.
Yep. And until he recovers, and then I also have to run the company, and I also need to be working enough that the clients are satisfied. So, because he's trying to work and help a little bit, but we're trying to make sure that he doesn't work too much, and he sort of just relaxes and takes it easy for a bit. So I just need to shoulder that burden for a little while longer, and then hopefully just go back to doing regular work on stuff and game. Let's see if that makes them do anything. Well, they might. Yeah, here they come. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, that was interesting. Did we even lose a single guy? No. That was lucky. They must have started running right as the crossbolts hit them in the back.
That's possible.
I'm gonna miss these Galglass guys, but I think I can recruit them maybe. I'm hoping.
If they're based off the unit I'm thinking of, probably like in the Northern Territory and probably also in Ireland.
I could also just run a general up here, or general, and just buy them and bring them down.
Mm-hmm.
These guys rock, though.
Certain units are just like that.
Granted, they are fighting puppies and they're heavy infantry. Those javelins killed more of my men than the enemy did.
Yeah, javelin friendly fire is never fun.
Alright, now we begin the push with the mercenaries. They are just mercenaries after all. Blech. I do like the puppy falls over. But yeah, no, thank you guys again for all the donations today. This is one of the reasons why I do stream as much as I do. Even though I shouldn't. Because Arch donated $500 to be like, don't stream. But I was like, I can't.
And
I can't.
What does he do?
I can't not. Like, Arch is generous. I'm like, I appreciate it, my friend. But like, there's two reasons. Two reasons why I can't. First one, habits. I need to maintain streams. Actually, there's more than two. but whatever. You know what? We'll just go through them. One, YouTube. It helps the algorithm of our channel. Our channel is piss piddly tiny. We're a witty channel. Like, we are as tiny as it can be. So, being on the algorithm's favor is good to begin with. And we're not really on the favor of it. We're just not getting shafted like we used to be. So, we need to keep making content. The next reason is it's good for the viewers because it makes sure our core audience always has content. And it's not too much for me. Is it a sacrifice? Is it a little bit stressful? No, I wouldn't say so. Like, I think my friends get a little bit over worried about it. Like, this is my game time, okay? Like, this is the first thing I've done that, besides Arch RP, I'll count that. That was actually fun. So, actually, I'm a little spoiled today. But other than that, I don't get a lot of time to play video games as much. And that bothers me. And YouTube is one of the few things that is enabling me to play video games as much. Because otherwise, I just work myself to death on something else. Excuse me. It was kind of nice to play something. Especially because I've been itching to play this. And I've only put in like 11 meagerly hours. And I don't know if I did. Part of me feels like it just was running at some point, and the extra hours racked up. No. Streams, 4 hours streams. Yep.
How long have I played this? 21.2 hours, or so says Steam.
The routing. Kill them all. Or kill as many as you can. Which is like none, because you've been killed hardly any. Oh, Heil asks, do you think they ever make more Total War games like Sparta and the Viking one? Probably not. They're probably not going to, because I'm pretty sure that didn't work out.
Both of them were experimental, and from what I remember, neither of them were as successful as they needed to be to justify another project like it.
Yeah. That's what I remember. Like, they weren't that successful.
Edelman says, Dev and Discordia were very quiet during the RP.
Yeah, they'll warm up. It takes a bit. That's also why, if you notice, like, partway through, after we, like, get in the flow of it, because I just needed a lot of information, too, at the beginning, because we didn't have a lot of prep time. Like, we asked Arch, what's the mission? What's the thing? He's like, no, I don't have that right now, so we had to wait.
Found out what our mission was when you guys did.
Yeah, we had no idea what we were doing. So, it was, like, a lot of learning, so we just took it kind of slow, get in the flow of it. I'm too tired. Like, I tried to get into the Skaven mindset, but I was having a hard time today.
Happens.
Like, I was like, okay, let's talk like a Skaven. And then I'm like, let's talk like a Skaven, but be productive. And, like, brain could not do that.
A shame your Galaglass got fucking munched.
They did, but they absorbed that horsies. They slowed the horsies. They protected the Kib.
General! Move! Yes, Imperator!
Don't forget, you may actually want to have your priests up there so you can actually use them to chant.
But there was one there.
Is there? Don't see it right off.
They're on the way. If I click chant there, that should affect them. You two did very good. Well, good. Again, we're not trying to do the hardcore RP stuff. I know there will always be the people in chat that go like, they didn't like roleplay every little aspect of it, but it's like, I just can't. Like, I can't do that. I don't have the energy for that kind of stuff, and I don't think anybody in the party wants to be try-hard sweaty about it. And I'm fine with that. As long as we roleplay and have fun with it. And it's not just like, you know, like it was with the vampire one, where it was like, there was role playing going on, but at the same time, like, nobody was like remembering any stuff, and everyone was just sort of not taking notes. And I took notes and tried to help out, and people were like, they just sort of shat on me for it, and they're like, no, I'm not reading notes. It's like 5 bullet points. Like, it's 5 bullet points. It's not that much. Just read it so we don't fuck up this quest. And then they would just ignore it. And then they would fuck it up because they didn't read it. And I was like, I just can't. That's the problem. Sometimes people just don't want to play, or they're too busy, and I can get that, you know. Sargon, other YouTubers, busy people. They got jobs, they got families, they got lots of obligations. They don't have time to commit to that kind of stuff. But I felt like if I just took that's why I took the bulletin notes, because like, okay, if I just take bulletin notes, maybe I can help out and be a team player and also help them, because that way they don't need to worry about the notes and stuff, because I'll take care of it. I'll have the notes, it'll be quick and easy, and if, you know, even if they don't want to read it, I'll just use them and, you know, be like, hey, like, if you just need help with this, I wrote it down. But nobody cared. And so that was very much like draining. Then people started accusing me of being like a hardcore PvPer, and I'm like, I'm not even, like, I've never even PvP'd until today. There's never... They died it. And they leveled it. No, 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 that way. Like that. Sometimes unit pathing makes me scared.
Unit pathing on this hill is just weird.
That's what I mean. That's one thing I actually like, a part of me likes the jank of it because it's like, yeah, that is the vanilla experience. Like, that reminds me of the game. But a part of me feels like they should fix that and then make it an option to switch to the old unit pathing. Like, when I move units down a road, one of my idea suggestions I would have would be like, okay, when you move a unit down the road, it locks it to a certain formation to move down that, like, little narrow road or alleyway. That way, you don't have to worry about it jerking out or something because it's locked. It can't jerk out. There's only one thing it can do. This is one dude. That's one dude. It's also hard to do a hardcore RP with friends you generally goof with. Yeah, I also don't really want to do a hardcore RP, and I don't think anybody else wanted to, which is good. Party seemed content with that. And then Arch decided to make me party leader because I had the most experience, which is interesting. Don't know if I didn't really want to be party leader. Just like, I didn't want to be, like, a part of me wanted to try it with the Lurking Hunter Season 2, but then I was like, I don't like this that much. But it didn't help that I was playing a character that shouldn't be a party leader, like Aerith. No. That was not as fun as Lurking Hunter Season 2, because Aerith needs to be that character that you play that's just like, okay, she can do silly things. And, like, I'll listen to the party leader when they make serious calls, but it's like, you can't do silly things. Because if you do silly things, you're the party leader and you'll get everyone killed. And so that's why that one wasn't as fun, because I had to play it safe a lot. Fucking music. Thinks it's all musicy. It's all musicy and shit. Not too bad.
General with fear. Now he flees the field like a coward.
Is that the general though? That's the general. See, the problem is I can't bait that unit off at the moment. He is not wanting to come play.
Not yet, anyway.
Yep. So we just need to keep holding back here until they all rout. Because they'll be forced to come charge at us every time because we're just going to keep peppering them.
Ever talked to Magog of Moskar, or Morskar? Yes, Morskar.
He's
Probably, if I remember, that sounds like a YouTuber. He'd probably be up for the RPing if you did online D&D.
I don't know who that is. Magog or Morskar. You'd probably be up for online RPing if you did online D&D. I don't like D&D. I hate that. I hate that universe. Like, I looked a little bit into it, and it felt like one of the most ramshackled, like, messes I've seen in a long time.
The thing is, D&D has so many different settings.
I'm not a fan. I don't know. Like, maybe something can be interesting. Also, I don't know. When it comes, I'm a little biased nowadays. Like, when it comes to YouTubers and stuff, like, I know what being a YouTuber's kind of like, as a small, little shitty one, right? But, like, a part of me doesn't like other YouTubers anymore. Like, I've been burned by a lot of them, and that's not true for everyone, because it's not fair. Like, I've met good ones. I've met Disco, I've met Dev, I met Arch, people who were actually nice, Ludus, and, I mean, I could go on. So if I missed some names there, that's fine. But, like...
I would be careful with your cavalry, because you seem to crossbows are...
Yeah, I saw that.
Crossfiring them.
Which is, that dead guy there. He died from a crossfire. Pew 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 pew. Speaking on music, I don't know if you've ever talked about it. What kind of music is gonna be in your game, Kibs? Oh, we had actually a little bit of a chat on that. So we have a new musician now. This one's actually not a musician, it's actually a composer. And we were talking about music. He's working on The Legend of Kanar. We have 3 demo tracks that we are looking at.
Oh, finally.
We got them.
They were being
a little
I am
fucking resistant.
combining both
Such
both
a
times.
victory.
Yeah, that was a long one. I mean, I could have sped that up, but the thing is, I'm also reading chat. I see you, lol. There's a fish. You audio. Look at him. He's like, I'm from a nation somewhere.
Somewhere on planet Earth.
That's true.
It's technically correct.
But yeah, when we was talking about, you also mentioned it at Officio. We talked about music earlier. People were asking, like, when we originally went in, we're like, ooh, we want something like, you know, action and upbeat. And then as we went on, it's like, actually, we need something more folky. Kind of like, what's something that can bridge the gap for you guys? The only game that comes to mind is Witcher.
Enslavement might be the better option.
I thought you were talking about music. I was like, what? I've never heard of that.
Because you're using remastered rules, and if I remember right, reading remastered, it evenly distributes all these slaves. It's no longer just the ones with the governor in them.
Now they have Ireland as well.
Yep.
Now we do need to dump these guys finally, though. They've done a lot of work. They will be remembered as heroes, but they're extremely expensive, even if there's only like 2 of them.
Well, the thing is, like, the 28 of them, that would have been not terrible for a...
Yeah, but our enemies don't have armies like that. We've taken all of mainland Britannia, except for that giant wall that blocks us from going north. That we can pretend is Hadrian's Wall, which is north of it. It's much more north than it was, realistically.
I think my favorite thing about Hadrian's Wall is when people say it, it's like they think it's this massive wall. No, it's like 3 feet high.
Yeah, it was like a border wall just to deter people from coming down.
It was literally just to be an inconvenience enough to not make people want to cross.
Pretty much. Traditional focus, cyber folk, Lamau. Stop it. It's almost 6 years, so try to get some sweep. We will soon. It's actually nearing that time.
You did take all of mainland Britain. Like, that is a pretty decent point.
But I don't want to stop playing video game hands. Hands are goddamn.
But you do say you had to or you wanted, ideally, to do a bit of a shorter one.
Do have to do reports tomorrow no matter what, so we do gotta do shorter. Even if I don't wanna make it short.
Like I said, it's a high point. You captured and, I would say secured, at least for now, mainland Britain.
You know, all we need to do is grab Ireland, defeat the Celts, and then we can turn our attention on the Remans.
You mean the faux Remans, the fake ones.
The fake ones. The red ones aren't real. We's true Remans. We's blue Remans.
You used to be Julia. You used to be cool. Now you're gay.
See, now I have a blue logo, and it's got a dragon on it. Like, they do have a pretty fucking cool logo for their flag.
It is nifty.
Like, that is unique. We have Britannia. Well.
And yes, Garboy, Earthwork would probably be more an accurate description for what Hadrian's Wall realistically was.
Yes, it would be. Let's do the unit size. Hello, Baraku Coons. There's your Jimmy boy. The black. Hello, black. Black's he's a cat. Meow. Oh my gosh, Chan. We need to get more art done. But I can't make artists work any faster because it's against, like, morality and ethics to beat them. I could just spam Sal's DMs and be like, where's my lolly? It'd be kind of funny.
Work faster or the lolly gets cut from the game.
Do like the water, though. I like how the water looks. One thing that kind of annoys me a little bit is the water, like up here, looks like the Mediterranean. Like, that blue is nice, but that blue should be in the more Mediterranean area. They don't have regionalized oceans.
The one up there should be a lot darker.
Because oceans are different colors and different pressures. Like, there's that one ocean where it collides with the other one where it's like blue and green, or greenish, and like there's like a straight line because the pressures between each are different, or something like that keeps them separate.
It's one of those things that's kind of interesting, like when you first see or hear of it.
It's
It's
like, yeah, it's
what?
part of water, but they don't actually cross over, really. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I think that will regrettably round up today's little baby stream. Tomorrow, we'll be streaming Monday. It'll be Monday, so it'll be EDF5 with Barch, Bubbles, and Disco. Assuming Bubbles is okay, and assuming Barch isn't dead. Somewhere in a ditch.
And Disco, but hopefully she'll find her way to the computer.
Yep. I'm hoping Tuesday we can do more Nier. I want to play more Nier. That's the game I want to play more of. That game is fun. It doesn't. I don't know if that game pulls in a lot of views because Nier is kind of one of those stories where it either clicks with you or it doesn't.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me like when we were talking about one of the scenes later on in the game where some people, it's like, I don't get it. It's like, and you just tell them, it's like, you kind of have to see it for it to, well, not even just see it, but basically play the game up to that point, or at the very least watch someone play up to that point to get the proper weight of that scene.
Yeah. It does feel that way. Oh well. Oh well. Either way, chat, thanks for popping in, and new subs and old subs as always. You guys have yourself a nice night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Have a good one.
Good night.